Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to give an article titled, Western Women Are Pricing Themselves Out of the Market When It Comes to Dating. And guys, this article, or this blog if you will, is written by a man. He's from Australia, and he's going to share his story about experiences he had a few years ago being a young guy, or not too young, but obviously young in my opinion, and his experiences in the dating scene and all that, and just how unbelievable that the gals are nowadays, displaying all the typical behavior that I talk about all the time in this channel that many of you guys are all too familiar with, either listening to my work, other channels' work, or just your own personal experience, or a combination of all of them. Goes through the same crap and how he's treated and all that, and the high standards and the pickiness and all that. And ultimately his job, as just like a gift from God, sent him to go work in Thailand for a number of years. And when he went over there, it was night and day difference. How the women were over there. They were feminine, they were attractive, they were nurturing, they were after him like crazy over there. Now, sure, you're understandably, keep it real here. He was a guy going to, I guess, what's considered to be a third world country, and he was white, and obviously he had some money from his job that would pay very well, so of course that's going to attract young women. Let's keep it real here. However, what he saw in how the women were over there, they weren't impacted by the feminist movement. They didn't have the same just destroyed values, so to speak, that a lot of the Western gals have nowadays. And if we're being honest with ourselves, we know what I'm talking about. And so he was having the time of his life, but you're going to see, unfortunately, he has to go back to Australia due to world events. But the point of this whole story is, this isn't just in the United States, the impact of the Western women. It's everywhere, okay? Thanks to what? The feminist movement. The damage that's been caused has caused the once a good percentage of the population of gals to be obviously more feminine, to be now more masculine, to be ball busting, and not to mention to consider I can do everything a man can do and more, therefore I don't need a man. And also the impact of social media and dating apps on the attitudes, where these gals get bombarded with attention from guys, which is guys' fault, and then you have just average gals thinking they're entitled to a 10. And they have these ridiculously psychotically high standards and a giant list of deal breakers for guys, and they're so picky, and they wonder why they're alone. Because we're getting articles left and right nowadays to gals that have been crazy picky for about a decade, and now they can't get a guy. And now they're crying because they don't have a family and kids and all that. So this is a good one here, just to show you from the perspective from a guy from a different part of the world. Because this article is only about 5 weeks old. I came across it this morning. I thought it'd be a really good one here. But at the end of the day, they're only doing damage to themselves, and we're going to see more and more articles in the time about women complaining that I'm alone, I was too picky, don't be too picky, blah, 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 blah. So I think you guys will find this entertaining. Okay, he says here, now let me tell you a true story. This story is directed to the single gals who've not chosen to be single that typically write these things, like there are no good men on social media sites. A little about me. I'm a successful software engineer who well and truly has his stuff together and my own place in the city. I lived in Australia way back in 2016, and then I moved to live and work in Thailand in 2017 for a better life. I've had to only come back to Australia due to the pandemic. You know, it's interesting because I guarantee the people in Thailand are thinking they want to move to Australia for a better life, but men, they want to go to the Asian countries for a better life with regards to the quality of women. Because it's well known that the Asian women, at least still, mostly, are much more feminine, much more traditional, and actually treat men actually as human beings, unlike the gals here in the West. And the feminist movement hasn't sunk their claws into that culture just yet. I hope it doesn't happen. He says, let me tell you a little about my dating life in 2016, well before I moved abroad. To be honest with you, my dating life sucked in 2016. Firstly, even getting a woman to date you was a problem. Most wouldn't even give me a try. When I did get a date, the woman would never turn up for the date, or she would text me 5 minutes before the date to say she couldn't come. Well, that's horrible, and that kind of sounds like what we have here in varying degrees. If I went on a date, usually it would not go beyond the first date, despite when we were talking on the date, she'd be smiling and it would seem like she was enjoying her time. At the end of the date, I'd thank her for the date and tell her that I enjoyed her company. Usually I wait a few days before I texted her again, and usually the following weekend, tell her using these exact words, hey, I'm going to X such and such this weekend. I'd enjoy it if you join me. it would result in her ghosting me. Some dates would make it to the third date, but the girl would always ghost afterwards. It was becoming predictable. I try and change as many things as the way I was talking to her, and it led to no difference. Okay, so you can see this guy, he has his troubles. And somebody could say, well, maybe this guy needs some help. Maybe his approach is wrong. Maybe this guy, I don't know, maybe he's very much overweight, or there's something about, maybe he's 5'2". No offense to the guys that are 5'2". Something that's turning him off. But as you're going to see here, it doesn't seem like it's that. It's just the attitude out there right now. And he said right here, I got my shit together. I got a well-paying job. I got my own place in the city. And you're going to see in a moment, guys, he does get some help, but no difference. He says, I once dated an overweight woman who said she only dates guys who are rock star guys, and most guys don't fit the bill. Did you hear that part? I'll read that one more time. I once dated an overweight woman who said she only dates guys who are rock star guys, and most guys don't fit the bill. What I tell you about the average gals feeling entitled to tens, to top guys, top percentage guys. The average gals think they're tens and feel entitled to guys that are tens, or the top percentage guys. Right there. Okay? She probably, for all I know, posts her stuff on Instagram, TikTok, and has a following of dudes that like big chicks. Okay, there are dudes out there like big girls. Okay? For what I've heard, there are OnlyFans sites of large and in charge gals that have an audience for dudes that like big girls. And this is her attitude. Before OnlyFans and social media dating apps, she'd be begging for attention, let alone feeling entitled to rock star guys. The impression I got was that it was more important for her to say she got the best guy and hype about it around her friends than finding a man who made her happy. She needed to be better than her friends. Women are very competitive with each other. Eventually, after a while, I got sick and tired of being ghosted, so I started asking her what was wrong. I'd still get ghosted. Well, you're not going to get anywhere asking a woman what was wrong, or why was she not interested, or why she broke up with you, or whatever. You're never going to get an honest answer, and especially now, you'll just get ghosted, which is exactly what happened. Don't even waste your time trying to get a straight answer. It says here, I was told useless things from other guys like, you just need to be more confident, except for I was confident. I was more confident than ever if I didn't care what others thought. I knew I had value. I knew that my achievements, for example, in my career had value. I would go to social media sites, and this is what stirred me up, seeing the many posts from women who claim that guys don't make any effort, but really I knew it was from their bad choices in men. Right. How many guys out there, how many guys watching this right now have made effort, and you got nowhere? And then you hear all the gals complain that guys don't make any effort, they don't try, blah, 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 blah. There's no gentleman anymore, nobody's romantic. And the guys that don't do any of that, that's the guys they chase after. Those are the guys they choose. Therefore, I tell you guys, for you dating relationship guys, don't be gentlemen. Don't do all the things they claim they want, because you'll get ghosted. You'll get taken advantage of. You'll be take her out to dinner, which you shouldn't do the first time, and spend a bunch of money, and she'll, thank you, and you never hear from her again. Do what the bad boys do. And it's amazing what will happen. And then if you date, and she's proven that she's worth it in terms of her treatment of your behavior, then you can start being a little bit better, only if, she treats you well. Anyhow, he says here, seeing the many posts of women that complain, blah, blah, blah. I saw a dating coach who taught me actually to not make as much effort. Play hard to get with the women is the dating advice men are given. So you see, guys know if they don't make any effort and they make the women beg the man to make an effort, they're actually rewarded with a relationship or sex. The women will chase them if the guys don't make any effort. See? There you go. It's screwed up, but it is what it is. I didn't know this when I was younger. I found it by accident. I'm sure some of you guys have. I got fed up and I went through my a-hole phase, and all of a sudden I was like, whoa, all these girls suddenly like me because I don't give a shit. But it was my natural personality, and I eventually revert back to my nice guy ways. For those of you who are new, I used to be a total nice guy type that did a lot of things I'm embarrassed to admit back in my teenage and college years, but every once in a while I'd flip the script because I got pissed, and all of a sudden it was night and day difference. In time, I found my happy medium, if you will. Anyhow, he says here, this is something you ladies have created. A guy who does make effort is perceived as just trying to get sex when actually it's mostly the opposite. When I saw a dating coach, it didn't give me success with women, but I did learn to value myself more, and I realized more and more how women were becoming not worth the effort. This guy is preaching to the choir with this community here. Yeah. Guys eventually realize, you know what, it's not worth it anymore. And you know what, not just that, not just in terms of gals, but also Western women. Okay, they're fed up with it. They're fed up with the attitude. They're fed up with the entitlement. They're like, that's it. I'm done. I'm done wasting my money. I'm done wasting my time. I'm done wasting my energy. I'll focus on me and success. And then they stop giving a shit, and all of a sudden the women are all over them. Ironic, huh? He says, this along with viewing the RP YouTube videos further moved me in this direction. Aha! He discovered YouTube. I became attached to reading RP YouTube videos and discovered pretty much everything they were saying was correct. Imagine that. All of us guys are saying the same thing, that women aren't worth it anymore. When guys' voices all over the internet, they're usually silenced, which is why more and more each day we are expanding to further the knowledge. Amen, brother. I don't like false info being spread around the internet about males not putting any effort in, and that there are no guys out there that want relationships. Yeah, exactly. There are plenty of dudes out there that still do, and definitely a great percentage that did want relationships in the past, but the gals weren't interested. Now, these were good guys, and most guys out there, the absolute majority of men are good men, in spite of how it's made us out to be. The problem is, you push men too far, but that's it. They're done, and that's what's happening now. In 2017, I decided to use my career to get what I wanted in life. I made a move to Thailand to work there. Despite it being a third world country, I was still earning a good six-figure salary even in Thailand. Man, he was like a king there then. Within 3 weeks, I landed a girlfriend. Hardly a surprise. She was beautiful, a huge step from what I'd been dating back in Australia. We would adventure out to the islands on long weekends, and she was pretty happy being with me. Many days where she would be in the front seat of the motorcycle, and I'd be riding behind, holding on to her. Well, you should be driving that motorcycle and have her behind you. You got this in reverse, dude. I'm gonna point that out. You can be. I'm not gonna say it. I asked her what she wanted to go and see, and her response was, "It's up to you." She even wanted to cook for me, even though I told her not to. She actually didn't like me telling her that, as she said she wanted to make me happy, and her response was, "What am I supposed to do for you then?" I was laughing, feeling a little guilty that I was being spoiled. Even if she had rejected me, I would have had 1,000 other women lining up. Talk about a polar opposite of Australia. Now, again, back to what I said in the beginning. Yes, he is in Thailand, and as he described, a third world country. And no offense to the Thailand folks that watch this, but this is the description that's given. And he's from Australia, and he's white. Okay, and I'm not pulling his white privilege horse shit. I'm just saying it is what it is. And this guy obviously makes money, so of course he's going to get attention. Of course. But the point is the difference in the culture, the difference how the women are. And I've heard this countless times from guys who've traveled throughout Asia. You know, Thailand was definitely one of them. I think Philippines was another one as well, guys talked about over there. And it was night and day how the women acted. They said, right here, she wanted to cook for me. Said, what do you want to do? She's like, it's up to you. And all these other things. She saw the man as the prize. And also, by the way, he knew that, hey, if she lost interest, who cares? He said, I got 1,000 other women lining up. Unfortunately, the pandemic forced me to come home. Australia decided it was okay to lock our borders and make it difficult for their own citizens to return, and so I didn't feel safe being overseas. Well, in hindsight, you should have stayed in Thailand. Besides the company I was working with in the travel industry, so that was a worry. Now, I'm back in Australia and waiting to go overseas again. I've started my own company building software for international clients and also my own stuff, mainly in Forex trading, and I plan to either move my company overseas or work remotely as a digital nomad. It's not every day you meet a guy who has become so independent that he can travel the world with his laptop. Right, ladies? Hell yeah, that's how things are. I mean, for what I do, for instance, with regards to YouTube. I can do this job anywhere I want. It's fucking awesome. All I need is my laptop, my phone, my freaking microphone, and an internet connection. I can do this anywhere in the world. I can just get in the car and just drive, go on a road trip around America and just do videos, whether I'm in a national park or who the hell knows, New York City, wherever. Which, that'd be kind of cool, a road trip with this channel. But anyhow, there you go. He says, my dating life right now sucks again. Depressed right now? Absolutely. My career, 10 points ahead. My career has taken off that I've been able to work around the restrictions being placed in the Western world in dating. I don't have to deal with Western women who set their dating terms. I now have my own. Once this pandemic finally ends, I will see the light at the end of the tunnel. Yes, exactly. Good for you. But the point he's making this whole thing, look at the night and day difference between Western culture, where he lives in Australia, his home, and over there in Thailand, in Asia. Night and day. And like I said in the beginning, the effing claws haven't sunk their claws right into that culture. And I hope that doesn't happen. But over here, thanks to the movement, and again, guys' fault in social media and dating apps giving them all the attention, the egos are sky high. The laundry list of requirements for guys are sky high, amongst many other things. Old traditional values right out the door. This is the hookup culture, Sodom and Gomorrah 2.0, as I call it. I mean, just it's bad. And a majority of guys know this. Okay, and we're waking up to this every day, and it is a shame. But at the end of the day, guys win in the end, because as the saying goes, the gals control. They hold the keys to SCX. We hold the keys to relationships, and more guys are saying, "The hell with this! I don't want to be in a relationship anyway, let alone seeing what I'm going to get out there." So I'm focusing on me and making me the best I can, and saving money and building wealth, hanging out with my bros, and living life on my freaking terms. That's the result we're getting nowadays. And the gals, sooner or later, more crying and carrying on. Where are the good men? I'm alone, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, when that happens, they did that to themselves. End of story. End of story. Now for fun, I'm going to read a few comments. As you can probably imagine, there are people that aren't too happy with him. They're insulting him. And guess who they are? Women. So I got a couple comments here from gals who are obviously insulting him for, God forbid, going over to Thailand, taking advantage of those poor girls that need some money, and a guy summing up the whole thing. Now, one woman says, the common denominator in this whole article seems to be you. And women lining up in a poor country for you more than likely has more to do with money than anything else. Translation, the reason they didn't like you at all in Australia was because of you. It's things you were doing wrong. But not saying, you know what, maybe we are a little picky. Maybe it's gotten to be a little ridiculous, our standards and all that. No, it's all him. It's all his fault. And insulting him for going to Thailand, which was his job, by the way. And all of a sudden, the gals are attracted to him, making him to be the villain because taking advantage of these poor, innocent gals that obviously were poor and all that. That's not the case. He was enjoying himself, having a good time. It wasn't like he was just hooking up left and right. You could say he was doing on weekend trips and having a good time and all that, but making him the villain. Another woman says, don't worry, we're coming for the girls from the third world countries as well, upping their standards so they don't have to put up with guys who think their career is the only one worth bringing to the table. Lucky you, it might take years, even decades, so for now, enjoy it while you can. Translation, she's saying, we're going to bring Western women like me, are going to bring feminism to these countries so the women can stand up and not have to cater to horrible guys like this going over there and blah, 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 blah. What a load of crap. And the last one, this is from a guy, and he sums up what I think. He says, it's not you, my brother, it's the dating market. It is nasty and it sucks. The sooner you realize that the average Western gal has totally lost the plot and doesn't know what she wants in life, the better you are. Girls of this generation are mostly hookup material and not relationship material. The funny part is they say the exact opposite, but their actions is what you should pay attention to. I say that all the time. For your own good and your own mental and emotional health, think of it this way. Your life is in your hands. You are in the driver's seat. If someone wants to hop on it, enjoy being with you, and if they fit the bill, let them in. But don't expect the romantic relationship our parents and grandparents. Most girls these days are incapable of pair bonding like that. Amen. I couldn't say it better to myself. He nailed it. Hit the nail right on the head. So at the end of the day, we're going to win. But yeah, this is what Western women have done to themselves. And now, does this mean every guy's going to get on a plane and go to Thailand or whatever? No. But some have. And I did an article in the summertime how apparently in, I believe it was Sweden, Apparently, a lot of Thai people go to Sweden, and a lot of the Swedish men are choosing the Thai women because they don't want the Swedish women, because apparently feminism really has had an impact on that society and culture, and the Swedish women are hating on the Thai women and trying to make things very difficult for them to immigrate there and all that. It was a pretty funny one, and if you haven't seen it, I'll post a link in the description. You'll see what I'm talking about. It was a very popular video. But all right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below and just think about this. And guys, if you got a great article or story you'd like to share with me, email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just email it to me, and if it's a good one, I'll definitely cover it down the road. And also, guys, if you are on Locals or on Instagram, check me out. Strong Successful Male, making a big push in the social media this year. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.